All right. I think we've got everybody with us this morning. Again, I appreciate everybody joining us. Council viewers with us this morning. Rick Jasperse. Rick, we appreciate you being with us.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thanks for inviting me.
Also, we have Mary with No Pickens. Mary, thank you for joining us. We'll be doing a video this morning and sharing that with us as well. So we appreciate you being with us. We'd like to stick to the same format that we've been doing and just go through and we'll start out with our Commission Chairman, Rob Jones. If you can kind of give us an update on that.
Can you hear us, Kris?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. We just can't see you.
All right. All right, everybody ready?
Yep. Just go see if you can kind of give us an update on anything on your end, Commissioner.
All right, I'll take that. As y'all heard earlier, I'm going to get with the other two commissioners. We're probably going to wind up extending till April 30th, what the president and the governor has suggested. So, and I'll run it before. We had a special call meeting in the morning. One for two commissioners at that time. Also, we're looking at the fact that we've got an ordinance in the county in regard to campers. What we're looking at doing during these emergency situations is waiving that in case we have a deputy, firefighter, or an EMT, heaven forbid, happens to come down with this, and if they have a camper, they can set it up at their house, and we will help them whatever it needs to get it set up there and waive anything that's got to do with that, where if they want to separate from their family, they would have the opportunity to do so. Also, keeping with the public educated about the COVID-19, we are constantly updating the social and traditional media. We're trying our best to communicate with our partners, and it seems to be working very well. We have put out 2 digital signs, one at Tate 4-Way and the one at Camp Road at the 4-Way at y'all's area. Anything that we could add to that, if y'all think we need to put something else on those information boards, please send it to us and we'll try to get it on there and make it work. There again, we're looking to extend our emergency declaration from April 7th to April 30th. And of course, after seeing some guidance from the governor and other local counties, and I have been in contact with the Gilmer and Fannin, we are considering extending it. This will coincide with the governor's closing of state offices to the public and the president's extension to flatten the curve. Any thoughts there, guys? I mean, even if we're going to April 30th, if this thing happens to subside before then, we can roll it back if we need to. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that and get y'all's opinion to that point. Face shields, I mentioned that earlier. They made 2 face shields. All they've got made, we give one to the hospital, one to the EMTs. We were hoping we'd get one to the sheriff's department, but we're going to go ahead as soon as the hospital thinks that these will work. We're going to go ahead and get this individual to start producing these units. And I think the EMA, Donnie, has got a list of how many y'all would like to have. We're going to go ahead and try to fill these orders as soon as this guy starts producing these things for the sheriff's department, city of Jasper fire, first responders, and that as we go forward. I don't know what his production time is going to be, but if we can, as soon as we get an approval from the hospital, we're going to go ahead and crank this thing up and see what he can do. How many can he make at a time? You got any idea? He said he can make 4 every 20 minutes. So if we can get the hospital to approve, that's what we're going to try to push towards. Do you, Donnie, do you or City of Jasper need face shields? I'm assuming you do.
Right now, Jeff, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, first we would want the hospital to make sure that they had enough, but yeah, at some point we would definitely would like to be able to have that available if we have the opportunity.
But I would say the hospital, the EMTs and fire should be the priority, and then after that, we'll take a look at what we and maybe the City of Jasper Police Department some of our guys could use some after that. So,
And I'll check with Johnny said here, see what we got on the list. We're still waiting from the feds through FEMA and GEMA. But as soon as the hospital gives us a go, we're going to have to start the manufacture of those things right away. Any other? That's all I've got at this particular time. Y'all got anything for me?
I had one question on the earlier. I know the city and the county both put out information about the parks and some of the trails were going to be open, both in the city and the county. I think some of those, I know, Rob, you and I discussed the park up on the Monument Road had been closed.
Yes.
Have we closed some of the other parks here in the county and the city?
I can't speak for the city. Roper Park, we're monitoring it, and I have told the staff down there to monitor it also. As long as the public uses common sense and we just don't get inundated to that point. Now, we've closed the gate off on the back going down toward the soccer fields, but that doesn't keep people from walking in. So we're trying to monitor from that point. And the staff down there that's keeping up with the grass mowing and everything is monitoring the crowds, and hopefully they can keep it under control. If not, we might have to shut it down before this is over.
But the park up on Monument Road, I think that was a private park, wasn't it? It was closed?
That's correct. Ken Rice, that owns that property up there, has agreed as of Monday morning. He has locked the gate. We have also put up two signs. Had the sign department put a sign at 136 and Monument Road saying that this park is closed, so they'll further notice. We also put one on the gate up there. We had extremely a lot of people on the weekend, somewhere between 100 and 200 people going in on that park on top of Monument, up on Monument Mountain. And really got a lot of those people that live along that area concerned, of course, for everybody going in there. But anyway, we've got it, at that point, we've got it all shut down right now.
And then also the bicycle park, I think there on Carnes Mill has been closed as well. So
It's a privately owned park, and it has been tentatively shut down. They're trying to manage that as they can up there on the Gilmer County, Pickens County line off of 515. Just trying to keep them from congregating in those areas and trying to be sure there's something else not going on late at night.
And Sheriff, and all for the city's perspective, I think we have not encountered any issues with Doris Wigington City Park or Lee Newton in terms of the passive green space or walking trails. We are keeping an eye out on it, and by and large, tennis courts, dog park, playground of small kids are obviously closed off and been such for a week and a half. But ours is kind of just monitoring as well.
okay, thank you. Any questions for our commissioner? Nothing? All right. Any updates from our EMA director?
The only thing I've got this morning is your request that they move from a sign to working on it,
Okay.
and so has the coroners.
All right. And once they are able to get that filled, we'll be glad to go pick up, any of the equipment that we can. Johnny, just, whatever they can let us know, we'll be glad to make that trip.
All righty, I'll do it.
We appreciate that. How about our Mayor Lawrence? Steve, can you give us an update with the city? Anything you'd like to go over with us?
Can you hear me?
We got you now.
Okay, so for the things that Brandon mentioned, I want to also mention something else, and that is that that probably out here, everyone who is listening, and of course now I understand that Mary Lizzie is recording this, and this will go out live, and I think that's a great thing, because we assemble here, and we also assemble every morning with Piedmont Hospital, and then we have our other chains of command. We listen to other people. Rick Jasperse does the same thing. He does a really good job of letting us know about things that are coming down from the state level too. But what we don't have is a unified message from all of us. And what this particular form allows us to do is to put this in front of the public so they can actually see that we are on top of things and that we are working on them. So from a PR standpoint, I think that it's going to be essential, and especially as the commissioner has said about moving this out to April the 30th. And of course, we're going to mirror that with our ordinance also. So until such time as we change all of that, it will become even more important for all of us to communicate as much as we can everything to the public. So that's my message, not just to all of us, but to everyone who is listening to this when it goes out. And thank you, Sheriff Craig, for putting this together, and thank you to everyone who participates. It's needed.
Thank you, Steve, and I agree. It's good for all of us to get together and just kind of stay on the same page. And then, of course, having Mary with no Pickens here to kind of give the community an update and let them know that we are all working together and trying to stay on top of this as we move forward. About Brandon, our city manager, have you got any updates on your end?
Thanks, Sheriff. And as the mayor and chairman indicated, the city has their ordinance, and it's effective for 60 days beyond passage. For that's beginning on the 27th of March, 60 days thereafter. Our intent is to mirror the county, so whatever action they take, ours will essentially mirror that. We can always rescind it as need be in terms of adjusting the date forward or up. To comment on the trails, we're just going to continue to monitor it. We're going to send out some administrative staff persons to educate some of our businesses. We've gotten some, concerns about some businesses not being in compliance that are otherwise non-essential. So before we send out the law enforcement, I'm going to just encourage them to listen to the administrative staff, talking to Chief Lovell. He'll send a patrol officer thereafter if we don't have compliance, for them to educate as well. We're just wanting to make sure that everyone is fully aware of the contents of the ordinance and to be in compliance.
We had a individual contact us saying that you might have a couple local restaurants or one in particular, and I won't mention them this morning, but that is opening their dining room, saying that they're going to practice social distancing. Is that going to be allowed to have some of the local restaurants opening their dining rooms?
No, on Monday we had several persons, and then I think there had been an email blasted out about a dining room seating, acknowledging social distancing. So we sent a city employee, city vehicle, city shirt to check it out. It was not open to dine in. It was just carry out. Not really sure why that particular email blast was sent out, but we are following up with things like that. So I would still encourage persons to notify us, so then we can just follow up. But I'm not aware of any establishment in terms of restaurant that's not in compliance. But yeah, I think it was just an error.
Okay, so any concerns, just notify City Hall?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're keeping a tab on it, and in that way, if it's considered non-essential, we send someone out. I'm not making a huge issue of it in terms of broadcasting. We're still wanting to adhere to the ordinance of education first, and then enforcement thereafter.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Any questions for our city manager? Having none, we'll move down to Sloan Elrod, which is our fire chief and our director of our 911. Sloan, can you give us some updates on your end, what you're seeing, or any concerns that you may have as our fire chief here in the county?
The biggest thing, supplies are slow to come in. We did get a little bit of stuff yesterday. Still no word from DPH as far as any of the equipment that we've asked for from them. Some other counties have gotten theirs, but we still hadn't heard a word from them, other than the phone call that I had made to them, and we ended up getting 20 masks is all we got from DPH at the time. The shelter in place, honestly, to me, seems to be working. Something's working on our call volume anyway. Now, as far as this week, we have seen a little bit of an uptick in call volume as far as this week. But just to give a kind of an update, we ran 380 calls last year. We're down almost 120 calls as of this year for the month of March. So we ended up running 262 calls. So that's a pretty big difference as far as our call volume goes. Now, as of this week, not to throw panic or anything else, 911 does an excellent job fitting the calls to make sure that, we're wearing the proper PPE when we get there. If it is a patient that they feel is suspicious, but we have seen an uptick in suspicious patients as far as this week.
So I think that's a good point to bring out, since, again, Mary is videoing this and going to put it out to the public, is if you're calling 911, it's important for people to know that it's an extra question or a few questions that's going to be asked, not only if it's an emergency medical call, but if it's a law enforcement type call, that, they're going to be, they being the 911 operators, going to be asking questions, as far as running fever or any symptoms that you may have dealing with, with this coronavirus. So the public safety officials responding can be prepared to take precautions as we or the fire department is responding to those calls. So just to let the community know that, we are trying to take precautions as public safety is responding to these kind of calls. So, again, just so the community knows that those questions are being asked. So if you see a deputy or a fireman showing up wearing that mask and gloves that, we wouldn't normally be wearing, especially in law enforcement, that's for our protection as well as protecting the citizens when we arrive. So, and we appreciate 911 operators, going above and beyond and asking those calls. So you mentioned getting some of those masks that you've gotten recently, but haven't you also, you guys received some donations from the local businesses?
Yes, we did. Jack Dunn, I believe it's a lady that actually works for him, but I'm not sure. He never revealed the name of the lady that had made some cloth masks for us. I think we've received right around 20 of those. Home Depot actually called, and we got a few masks from Home Depot. The hospital, we did receive some wipes from the hospital to go to our 911 center to help keep the keyboards and all things that we can't spray liquid in. We really needed those wipes, and hospital gave us a few of those. So we're trying to use those as sparingly as possible, but keeping us as healthy as possible as well.
Right. And I know we received some donations and some supplies through our Board of Education with masks and gloves and wipes that we've been able to get out to both, I think Jasper Fire and Pickens Fire. So we appreciated those from the Board of Education, so we can get out to other public safety folks as well. So, anything else on the fire side from Pickens County?
Not that I can think of, unless somebody's got a question.
Any questions for Sloan? Nothing. We'll move down to Steve Roper, our Jasper Fire Chief.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Got it. My report from the city is basically the same thing as Sloan. Our call volume is actually down. We are running a few addresses that are confirmed. PPE supplies are holding steady. We could always use more, but we have, like Sloan, we've received several donations, including some of the handmade cloth masks that we can buy filters for at Home Depot, and those are reusable. Other than that, it's just pretty much the same. Nothing's changed since we met Monday.
Now, you talk about those masks. I think in our last meeting, most of us are reusing those masks. Are you guys still doing that, or is it just use them once and discarding those? Or
no, we're reusing. We're reusing if we don't make patient contact.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Jasper Fire? Vaughn, our assistant fire chief, anything to add to that? Let us get you unmuted here.
Okay, sorry about that.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the community for the support that they're showing to public safety during this. They're dropping off meals at the station. People are willing to donate. The comments that we're receiving on Facebook and other social media has just been amazing at the support the community's shown, and I'd just like to thank the community for that.
Okay. I can't disagree with you. We've had a ton of folks calling, and like you say, you see a lot of these businesses. You talk about the meals. See a lot of these restaurants that have been closed down or that have been cut way back, but yet they're still stepping up and supporting the community as far as donating meals in a time of need. And to me, that shows what our community is all about. That's pretty amazing. So,
absolutely.
Next, we have Greg Lovell with us, with Chief of Jasper Police Department. Greg, how are things going with the City of Jasper Police Department?
Oh, good. So far, first of all, good morning, everyone. So far, so good. Our call volume is down as well. For some reason, the past 2 days, the only calls that we've been getting is dog calls, and I think it's because people are at home now and they're seeing these dogs running around. It's the only thing I can figure, but we've had a few animal calls we've had to contend with. Been in contact. Jackie Dunn, our local pharmacist, called. He's going to be donating us a infrared thermometer so that we could check employees' temperatures when they finish or begin a shift, and also some masks. Also, Chief Roper and Assistant Chief Headrick's been gracious with giving us some supplies, along with your Chief Deputy there at Jeff Hall. I stay in constant communication with him about equipment needs and request to GMA as well. But other than that, we're taking along pretty good.
Sounds good. We appreciate it. Just to give you guys a couple of updates on the Sheriff's Office side, our jail current population, we can house up to 140 inmates. We're currently at 43 inmates this morning. We're having no issues dealing with any type of coronavirus or sickness here in the jail. We've been very fortunate. We do have the capability of testing any of our inmates, if we're showing any signs of or issues of the virus. So we have some tests in-house where we can check, if we're having any issues here. As we're bringing in the inmates, anybody that comes into the facility, they're being screened and checked. If they're not immediately going to be posting bond, they are quarantined, so to speak, or kept separate from the other inmates for a period of about 10 to 14 days, just to make sure that they're not showing any signs of any type of virus or issues. And then as long as they're not showing any signs or symptoms, then they can be populated in the general population. We do have our own medical here in the facility, and so if we're having any issues, then they will be checked and cared for by our in-house medical staff. But again, we're taking lots of precautions to take care of those inmates that are here in the facility. We canceled all of our inmate visitation, all of our outside visitors. Anybody that was coming in for inside programs has been canceled, and the facility's been cleaned and disinfected at minimum of 2 to 3 times a day. Again, just trying to keep down any potential issues that we have. Outside of the jail, I'm going to ask Captain Stancil to give us an update. As most of you are aware, we're running a new program called Are You OK? We're trying to take care of some of our seniors and some of the folks that have been shut in or possibly quarantined. So, Kris, can you give us an update on that?
Yeah. So right now we've got about 12. It ranges between 10 and 12 from day to day that we're calling each day that are shut-ins. Our record staff has been calling them every single day to check and see if they've got any needs or updates. We've delivered prescriptions to 10 different families that we've gotten calls from. We've got a couple that are probably pending for tomorrow, waiting to see if those get picked up soon. And then working with CARES on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we've got 36 families that we've been taking food to. That number kind of changes on a daily basis. Usually after each time we make a delivery, we pick up about 4 or 5 more. So we'll probably be up to 40 before our next run on Friday. So we're averaging, depending on the day, it's anywhere from 6 to 15 to deliver food to. And then we've had a couple that have requested that we be able to pick up a couple items that they've had from a click list thing that we've not actually had that scheduled yet, but we are still reaching out. A lot of them call just because they don't know that they can actually go pick it up themselves. So we've probably had, in addition to the 40 that we are picking up for, we've probably referred 40 more to go to the drive-through pickup thing there at Thrift or at CARES whenever they're going through. So they're getting it caught up.
And if somebody wants to sign up for that program, how do they do that, Kris? What's the best way?
It's my phone is the way most have. It's 706-253-8869. Or they can email me and we can get it set up that way. We've had a few that have just called the main front extension as well, the 8900 to call the jail, and they've been able to refer them. But the number we've been giving out is 8869 to call to sign up.
Okay, thank you. The other thing,
question.
Yeah.
You said you had about 12 people on this call list. Actually, that was 12 that call in. Tell us how many people that you have actually that are on the entire list itself.
So it kind of is broken down in a few different ways. Out of that 12, we're delivering food to, I think, 8 of those. 4 of them just have out-of-town family members that have called us and said, can you check on or just make sure that they're doing okay. Most of them are advanced in years that we're reaching out to. So the total number of people we're working with on a week-to-week basis is about 60 people right now, and that number kind of is going up and down. Some it's just a phone call, some it's delivering something back and forth, and then any other requests that come through, we're trying to help by sending a deputy to go out and do a welfare check as well.
Thank you.
so with that program, if you're aware of, with the Are You OK, which is something we were starting after the first year, if you're aware of a senior or somebody that is living alone that really doesn't have anybody there to help keep an eye on them, if you'll let us know, we'll be glad to check up on them and to put them on that list. Somebody that we could call on a daily basis just to check up on them. And that's something that will continue after this virus issue is over. And this will be an ongoing program for us. But if you'll let us know if you're familiar with somebody, we'd love to add them, or at least to see if they'd be willing to allow us to add them to our program. The next thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, or ask Jeff Hall to speak on, after our 9:30 with Piedmont, he and Chief Lovell, we made a separate phone call to Piedmont Mountainside to talk a little bit about an issue dealing with the traffic security plan. Jeff, can you kind of give us an update?
Yeah, so to get everybody up to speed, I talked to Chief Lovell and the city manager, Brandon, this morning. Also, after our meeting, we talked to Denise over at the hospital. We went ahead and started talking about our plans, that if they start getting more and more patients, traffic plan and or security plan. So as of right now, we're going to set up a meeting. They're waiting on them to give me a meeting time and date. We're going to go over there to this command, and we're going to start sitting down with their staff and kind of see their layout and start working with them to basically the outer perimeter, because if we start having patients start coming in there, you know, there could be a possibility of some traffic issues. So therefore, we're trying to figure out, just to make sure we have our plans together and that the city and the county are both, you know, kind of on board with what we can accomplish and what we need. I'm going to reach out to Johnny Nicholson. I already talked to the EMA director, Johnny Nicholson, this morning about some other supplies. I'm going to reach out to him after this call to see what's available through GEMA on getting some other supplies like barricades and cones if they're needed. I already talked to Chief Lovell about it, as I said earlier, about the barricades and cones. So that's kind of where we're at with the traffic. On another note, I talked to some of our stakeholders, the fire departments and the police departments last night, and some this morning. We're going to go ahead and start compiling what kind of equipment we have, especially our protective equipment, the PPEs that everybody keeps talking about, so we can kind of, you know, help each other when we have items and they start running low. We can start sharing. So each week, they've all agreed to start sending us, and we don't mind compiling. They're going to send it to us. We're going to compile it and send it to everyone. And it'll give us a kind of real count of what we have access to right this second. And that way it'll help each agency, each office or department to, you know, figure out what they have or what they don't have. So if the city of Jasper has plenty of gloves, necessarily we're starting to run low, we can borrow from them or they can borrow from us. Same with the fire departments in that respect. Questions?
Having none, we'll move to the last but not least, Rick Jasperse. And Rick, I wasn't purposely leaving you out as we move forward. I actually saved you for last because I wanted you to hear some of the things that, you know, some of the issues that we're having. But I think it's important that you were willing to be a part of it. Part of this meeting and see some of the needs, some of the issues that we're having. And I appreciate you being a part of this and being willing to take some of this back to the state, but also not to just complain, but I want you to be a voice for us as the sheriff and as public safety. You know, one of the biggest issues that we've had, and I think as a community, is been trying to get the information out. As the sheriff and as the sheriffs across the state, one of our biggest concerns and I guess complaints is we feel like that we've just not got a lot of information, you know, from the state level. And I'm not complaining to you. I know y'all are faced with the same issue trying to get the information out. But you know, this has been tough, you know, on all of us in public safety. And, you know, while we've been trying to learn as much as we can about this coronavirus and trying to figure out what we need to do to protect ourselves and then protect our communities and then trying to provide the information for the community, you know, we unfortunately are getting most of the information from our local media or, you know, Channel 2, Channel 5, and things like that. And I think, you know, probably your governor is getting the information, pushing it out to the media, and I think that's how most of us are getting that information. But what's your take on it? Thoughts behind what you're seeing here this morning?
Well, thank you, Sheriff, for inviting me yesterday to take part in this.
And those of y'all are our first responders, and all of y'all, just from a regular citizen side, I thank you. I mean, I guess I have a different perspective than just the average person, but, you know, I appreciate all y'all are doing every day. And, you know, I've been kind of locked up for a couple of weeks with this thing, but I see it on social media. You're trying, you're out there, and really putting your lives on the line for a lot of our folks. And I appreciate it. You know, Mayor Lawrence brings out a really good point. You know, we need to make sure, and I think we've done it as a community, making sure we're doing a clear message together, that we're in this together, we're supporting each other, and we're supporting each other's decisions to shut things down, to keep people at home, to be very educational and trying to make sure our community knows what's going on. Donnie, what I'll make sure I do is I get an update from the governor's office just about every other day, just little things, and I'll make sure I get that to you. I'll get it to all of y'all. We'll figure out a way to do that, that I get, that just keeps us up. You know, we have a internal call twice a week where we can ask any question we want. And I sent my 5 questions in last night for tomorrow's meeting. And of course, the governor is trying to do a good job telling folks what's going on. Like this afternoon at 4:00, he'll do it's just a news conference, you know, with Dr. Toomey and Homer Bryson and all of them, tell them what each one of them are doing and giving information. And you watch it on GPTV. That's where I watched it last week, and it was very informative. And just letting know what they're doing on their end. And for Sloan, I will be glad to interface with Homer Bryson at GMA if you're not getting stuff, because they're kind of making it sound like, and I think they're trying to get PPE out into the counties that are asking for it and other things. And if it needs to be a squeaky wheel, you know, I'm glad to do that at any time for you guys.
I appreciate you being with us and willing to to listen and be a part of this. And it's good to know that we've got a voice, with the governor and at the state level. And if we need somebody to push and to prod a little bit, it's good to know that we've got somebody there to help. So,
well, I love it. Yeah, that's what I've done all my life. You know, one thing that's really emerging on our end is unemployment. You know, Toyo Tire shut down. We have a number of Pickens County folks that work over there in Bartow County. And, engineered floors, all these different places are starting to slow down or shutting down. And unemployment claims they are swamped. And, but they're trying, they're making a good effort. And my secretary in Atlanta is still working. And, main thing she's working on is chasing down rumors and trying to just answer people. And I'll tell you what, Governor Kemp's office has been great about rumor answering. They were, like this morning, a real kind of crazy one. They were right on it. And so they've been very, very responsive when we're asking them unusual questions. But I thank y'all, and thank you for including me, Donnie.
Absolutely. Anybody have any questions for Rick?
And if they don't have any right now, my number's in the phone book, easy to get a hold of, call me. I'm just sitting at home, man, so I'm just glad to help.
One person I've kind of overlooked is Kris Leake. Kris Leake is with us from Corporate Services, and I know we've made a few changes over there. Kris, can you put us a quick update on what's going on with the courts and with the civil process?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We got you. Sorry.
Okay. We reinitiated some serving of papers just because, the courts are still producing them. People are still filing papers. We have a lot from magistrate court and from clerk of court. We got up to about 76 papers. So we sent some deputies out. I included some instructions that we attached to the papers to minimize contact between our deputies and the individuals receiving the papers. Encouraging folks to just call the offices to speak about filing deposits and stuff. Yesterday, of the 76 papers, we served 40 of them. Of course, a lot of people are home, so it was kind of to our advantage to get out there and get some curve. But so we're still having to, because the courts are open, we still have some legal obligations and constitutional obligations that we have to fulfill, and that being one of them is serving papers and keeping the doors to the courthouse open. So we've knocked out a lot of papers. We're prepared to serve them as needed, and we're still seeing folks come through the courthouse, and we started tracking that non-employees. Monday we had 22. Tuesday we had 23 individuals, and each person that comes through the courthouse, we are checking their temperature, doing some of the screening questions, having them sanitize their hands as they come through. Folks are still coming here. It's not in the large numbers that we used to have, but folks are still coming through here to get deeds, to get marriage certificates, and various different things.
Okay. Any other questions before we finish up here today? For anybody? I know Mary's still with us. Mary, have you got any questions for anybody?
No, I think that's good. Y'all covered everything. Thank you for including me.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you covering the meeting, and I know this group will get together again Friday at 10:30. And again, guys, we appreciate everything everybody's doing. Rick, we appreciate you being with us, and if you can join us again Friday, would be great. Friday we will have GSP Tim Nichols, Sergeant with our local GSP post. Hopefully we'll be able to join us, and he'll start being a part of this group as well. And so guys, y'all have a good week, and thank y'all for joining us.